This is Shorthammer. It is the 17th of May, 2020, and this is Trading Zones. Now, coming into the week, our expectation was potentially more upside. We did mention that we could go down, but we didn't expect the extension that we saw to the downside. So, if we're looking at where we opened the week, it was right up here near the 2930s in this area here. And from that point, we saw attempts to push through that failed. We didn't push through 2950s and higher, the 2960s at all. All we saw was the sellers pushing us down. And we saw a good drop here, a pullback, back test, then more downside. When we extended down below the 2770s, we did see buyers step in. And going into the end of the week, Thursday into Friday, we did see a little bit more of a push up off those bottoms. Now, what can we expect going into next week? I think we're still uncertain. We see quite a few states are opening back up. They're not reinstituting those stay-at-home orders, so there should be money flowing back into the economy, people going out and purchasing and buying things. So this upcoming week and into next week, as many of those stay-at-home orders expire, we're going to get a glimpse of what the I wouldn't say the post-coronavirus, because the virus is still there, but how states are dealing with that and how people learn to live with it. Because from what scientists are saying, it's not going away, and a vaccine isn't around the corner. So we're going to see whether there's an uptick in another outbreak, or if there really isn't a spike, and it sort of turns into one of those things that people are getting sick, but the fear surrounding it may have abated a little bit. So we'll see how just the world handles that. So what we want to watch is where we are now. We are right at the 2850s. So what we want to see is, will we, let me see this. It's just interesting looking at the different days of dip. Will we be going up or going down? So if we push back above our 2862.50, which is an area that just on the when you I guess when I'll say, when I can't say intraday because it's overnight too, that area is just an area where we've seen rejections and also seeing buyers step in. So I like that area. So if we're above this, I am a tad bit more bullish just for right now. And if we're below this, I'm a tad bit more bearish. And not saying that I won't dip by at different levels, because I do play my levels, but I do if I'm long, I will prefer to be above this area. But we'll see how that shakes out. So to the upside, we have the 2860s, 2872, 2884, 2887, 2914s. Below that, we have the 2833s, 2800s, 2773s, and below that, the 2740s. This was the area I believe that we mentioned as the max extension down, and we didn't quite get there. Kind of reversed a little bit above that. But I'll be careful headed into this upcoming week, just to see if the vibe and the overall market might be a little bit more positive as states are beginning to open back up. So just keep an eye on that, and we can see what the overall vibe and response is in the market, and also as the Fed continues to pour money into it. So we'll see. And I think the Fed has been buying ETFs. So we just have to see how the market responds to that, and if this was a dip and then we buy this back up, or if we just sell back off here. One of the things that did pull back this week was the financials, but then tech kind of pushed and saved the market, in my opinion. Like tech has just been strong. But let's see. And over to the Russell. So coming into the week, we were here, and then we see the corresponding movement down. And off this lower area, we see the buyers try to push us back up. So the areas we're going to watch are the 1290s. You already have these areas. In 1350s, we're kind of staying in the same area. 1215, 1178. If we dip below 1178, 1138, 1096, 1069, we'll see how this shakes out. But we did see here from this dip, we bought it right back up. We're kind of strong here. And we'll see if we can get another leg up into these 1290s. But just very interesting to see how the overall market is going to respond to just stay-at-home orders going away, and if people are really in a rush to get back out there. I think that's really the next big deal is yes, some people are complaining, some people are not. I mean, that's neither here nor there. When the stay-at-home order is lifted, and for the majority of states, let's say everyone's back out there, how many people are going to be willing to get back out there? How many people are going to be willing to go to malls, go to hairdressers and barbershops and restaurants, get back on subways and buses, public transportation? How many people are going to be willing to go right back to business as usual? And I think that's going to be the question as to if the economy remains open. And this is specifically the U.S. is what I'm looking at. If the economy remains open and we don't get more stay-at-home orders, how long will it take for things to get back to business as usual? That's our question. So off to Amazon, and Amazon had an interesting week. We came into the week right around this area here, and we saw just a slight push, but we kind of really didn't go anywhere. It's almost as if we ended the week roughly where we started. We didn't get an extension to the upside or to the downside, but the way, if you look at this candle, how we ended, that was a strong end to the week. But what we want to see going into this upcoming week, if you're bullish, you want a squeeze above these 2400s, preferably these 24 teens, 2420s. You want to push above that and a squeeze to 2450s. That is what you want to see. Let me zoom out here. If we just look at this area, that dip, push up into here. Yeah, you want an extension through the 2450s. You want to pop this top if you're bullish. You definitely want to pop this top. Just because of the range Amazon usually has, this is not that far away. And Amazon is, let's see, from 16th of April, 23, 21. Amazon is basically, doesn't sound crazy to say, but Amazon has basically been range bound, and we want to see an extension. There's going to be an extension. Look at Amazon. Yeah. There's going to be an extension out of this area. We're going to go one way or the other, and we're going to go. So keep an eye on Amazon. This could be an interesting week. We'll see what happens with tech, because this could still sell. So it can go either direction. But I'm going to be looking for an extension on Amazon, either below these this is 2300 or above these 2450s. But I'm going to be watching if Amazon extends in these little bottoms that we put in here. If when this doesn't hold, there could be an extension. This could be interesting. And looking at these tops, because you could just see it. I guess this is like clear as day. You can see we're kind of it's hard to say consolidating when you talk about Amazon, just because of the range. But we know Amazon, and Amazon could really run. So this is interesting. So the question I think will be, being that we're at the upper edge of Amazon's all-time highs, will buyers have the appetite? Do buyers see more value to the upside here? It's, we're opening back up. Things are getting going again. Do buyers see more value to the upside? Post earnings, like, do buyers see more value to the upside? Or do buyers think that as things open back up, that people will be utilizing other retailers that may not be Amazon? And does that cause Amazon to do this? So we have to see. Not sure about that, but I'll be watching Amazon for a movement. You have these levels already, to the downside from where we are: 2318, 2290s, the 2250s, this area here. Below that, the 2186 to the upside. We're right on the 2407, then 2450s. Then we're popping all-time highs, and we could be off to the races. So I'll be watching this. I do think, like, NVIDIA, Netflix, I believe they're all-time highs. And if not all-time highs, they've closed, as far as from an intraday perspective, at the all-time high areas. In fact, let's get over to that now. Check out Netflix. So if we look at Netflix, look where we are. It looks like it's preparing to give us another leg here. We have to see how this works out. I still think with the, and we have to see, because I could be 150% wrong. But I think with the economy opening back up and people potentially getting back to business as usual, getting back to work, that if things remain open and people are no longer in the house, I would expect the subscriber base to go down on Netflix. And maybe I'm looking at that completely wrong, but we'll see. I mean, since the pandemic began and we had this little dip, I mean, people have been racing into Netflix, and we can see this run up makes sense. That there's a pandemic, people are in the house, they're watching more TV. Netflix is one of the least expensive ways to get access to a huge library of content. So I guess the question is, do we believe that there'll be more people viewing Netflix when the stay-at-home orders are lifted? I think not. So we'll see. But we're up at all-time highs intraday, and we'll see where we go next week. But I will be watching Netflix. To the downside, we have 447, 440s, 431s, then this 418s, 410s. If you're looking for the extension of where this could go, you probably, if you have a specific question, you can ping Lisa on that, and she'll have levels based on her pivots. I don't have levels above this of where we can go. But this is very interesting on Netflix. And NVIDIA also. NVIDIA, look at that push on Friday. So NVIDIA is way up here. So we have to see. We had like a flare down here that we held this level here. But from that point on, look at this. Just that strength. Unbelievable. So NVIDIA is pushing, and for the levels up here, you would need to tag Lisa. But I mean, we're off to the races here. So NVIDIA is interesting. Yeah, these lower levels here that we've repeated multiple videos that you had to watch these, and we'll see. This is 317, 313, 303. So just keep your eye out. I mean, this thing is looking strong, so we'll see what happens. But usually when something is strong, it remains strong, and you try to play the pullbacks. And we'll see what the next move on NVIDIA is. So I'll be watching this to see if we remain strong, if we pull back, and if we hold these all-time highs. Taking a peek at Facebook. Facebook is above our 210 area, the line that we would like to stay above and see the bull step in and give us some extension to the upside. But to the upside, we have 212s, 214s, 218, 219s, 222s. To the downside, we have the 208s, the 203s, then below that, the 197s. And that's a while ago. And this is, nice little pullback this week. And they brought us right back to it. So we'll see there. I'm not sure how their Zoom competitor is doing right now. I have not seen any numbers on that at all, actually. But nice. Yeah, Microsoft. Just not looking as strong as NVIDIA and Netflix. But we have to see. Not even really back to where we closed on Friday. Like it's been a little bit weaker. So we'll see. I'll be keeping an eye on Microsoft to see if it's just lagging as far as tech goes, and if we're going to get a push here on Microsoft back to this upside to 191s and higher. With NVIDIA and Netflix pushing, all-time highs, I'm going to be watching tech and just to see, because sometimes you never know, right? If will all of tech catch a bid? Will we get a squeeze, or will some of the other names just continue to meander below all-time highs? So looking at this to the upside, 308, 312s, 318s. We want to what we want to happen, or what we want it to happen. I think we mentioned this on the last video. If you're bullish, you want Apple to catch a bid above this. With the stay-at-home order being lifted, people should be headed back out as far as to Apple stores, services. That's one of their big things, and maybe purchasing new phones. So we'll see if we catch a bid here with all these stay-at-home orders ending. Just keep an eye on that. Now, if these stay-at-home orders end and the market just sells, that's a signal that that's just, in my opinion, the view is that even though we're getting back out and people are getting back into the economy and having the ability to purchase, that there is still a heavy cloud hanging over all of that, that people think that maybe, that people getting back out may also give a rise to those coronavirus numbers. So we'll see as we try to balance, the public safety with, stabilizing the economy. It's a really tough balancing game, and I've heard arguments on both sides of it. And I just think it's rough. Like, it's a hard decision. But definitely watch these levels. To the downside, we have this 295 area, 284, 277 to the upside, 312, 318, 328s. I'll definitely be watching Apple this week. It seems to just being right in this middle area where it just has not decided. and you see kind of this area here we were talking about. It pulled back into that area and didn't extend much below that, and sort of pulled back into these 308s. So we'll see if we get strength above this. This will be interesting to watch this upcoming week. I'm taking a peek at CI, and it really hasn't gone anywhere above this 190 area. We expect the 202s, and it seems as if we've been catching a bid roughly around the 180s. So I'll be watching this for an extension above the 190s for a test of the 202s. Above the 202s are the 206s and the 215s. And below that, we have the 173s, the 163s. But I'll be watching this. It looks like a slight bit of consolidation in here. So we'll see if this if there's any fire lit in this sector. I'll just be watching it. CI, when it begins to trend in any direction, tends to go in that direction. So once I see a break out of this general area and a trend, I'll be riding that trend and following CI, whichever direction it decides to go. Intel has been true to form. What we mentioned a few videos ago was that Intel was in somewhat of a channel, with the bottom of the channel being the 5570s and the top of the channel being the 6090s. And that, yes, we have seen extensions above, but it just pulled right back into this channel. And I think when we mentioned that, it was, we were here, I believe, here. And since then, we've bought back up to the top of the channel and also back down to the bottom of the channel. So keep an eye on Intel. It's been sticking to this channel for quite some time. And we'll see if this movement continues on Intel. Tested the bottom, buyer stepped in, and we'll see if we head back to the top of this channel. Definitely watching Intel closely, and you scalp where you can, get your plays where you can on this. At some point, this channel will no longer work, no longer hold. And what you hope for when that becomes the case is that we see a trend develop and an extension to the upside. Or if it's a break below these bottoms, that we see a trend and an extension to the downside. We'll see how that shakes. CMG was interesting also. If you remember, someone did ask a question as to where did we see CMG going, and what was mentioned was watch for test of the teens and a push to the upside. So what did we get? Tested the teens and a push to the upside. Nice little range extension here. And then we saw some sell side. But that sell side, if you played that to the upside, you definitely got good range and made good profits on that. And back to the downside, if you saw us drop into this candle structure, a line that we have here, the buyers did step in and push us back, and we ended up higher than the where we were on the 12th. So CMG is still really strong, and we'll see if we see a further extension to the upside on this. But if you're looking at CMG, I believe these are all-time highs. Yeah, CMG all-time highs. So it cracked the all-time highs, pulled back below. Buyer stepped in, jammed us right back through that top. So we'll see what type of run we can go on here with CMG. I believe Elisa gave some levels. You had to check the last video in the comments. She gave some levels that we're watching. But beautiful play here for anyone that played it initially. And then if you watch this drop in the candle structure and into our level here around the 888s, buyer stepped in again. So nice on NVIDIA. Here I don't have levels. You have to check what she posted to see the extension here, because that's above all-time highs. And let's take a peek at the SPY, and we will be wrapping it up there. So if you take a peek at the SPY above, so the way we are is what's funny is, look at this area here, and kind of hanging in this little area. I wouldn't say it's a channel by any stretch of the imagination. But we did test these bottoms, and since I believe it's the beginning of April, we have had, see, here, tag here, push back up. Okay, so what I'm going to be watching for, we're right around the 286 area. I want to see what we do with the 294s. If we can find strength above that, then I will be long. Yes, strength above this, I'll be long. And weakness below the 273 area, I will be short. But I need to see bearish candlestick formations below this, and I'll take it to the next level around the 260s. And below that, we have the 250s. Above the 294s, we have the 302s and the 307s. I believe we opened the week, where were we? Were we here? Yep, right here. And we were wondering if we'd see bullish action to the upside. But it seems as if we're hanging in this little box, and we pull back down to the bottom of this box. See these candlesticks here and here. So we'll see if we hold, or if we, can pop this top. That's what I'm watching on the SPY. If you like this video, please don't hesitate to tap that subscribe button, and to what should I say, tap that like button. And if you'd like to subscribe to our channel, please go to Power of Pivots and subscribe, where you can look forward to receiving more videos like this from me, and also videos from Elisa, as she shows you how she utilizes her Power of Pivots script to find great intraday plays, also swing plays. Thank you for your time. Please remain safe and have a wonderful week of trading.